Hi, everyone. This is Carrie Wallace. I'm the founder of FamGuru. And today we are going to be talking about how to use FamGuru for travel advisors. So essentially, this is a training exercise. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll be good to go whenever you're traveling and needing to take your notes while you're on a fam trip. Our conversation today will be in 3 parts. The first, we're going to be looking at the FamGuru app. You see my phone screen just here as we're starting. And we're going to be talking more about what it's like to use FamGuru in the case of a hosted trip. So you have a supplier who's hosting the trip and using FamGuru. And we'll also be talking about how you actually use it when you're traveling. The second part of our conversation is how to use FamGuru on the website. The app and the website have exactly the same function. So if you'd rather not type up your notes on your phone, you can absolutely do that on the website. So we'll talk about that. And then finally, we know that sometimes you're traveling on your own self-directed trip, or your host may not be using FamGuru. So we'll talk about how to set up your own trip, creating that structure, and how that works. We'll also use the website for that. So first of all, let's start with part 1. I'm going to talk about what it's like when you get invited into a trip by a supplier. And so I'm going to switch my screen. I'm going to go to my email. So let me close that up and go to my email here. And I'm going to go into my other email. And I have an invitation for this trip to India. So this is what it's going to look like. A supplier is putting together an invitation. They're going to invite you into FamGuru. They're going to send this to you, and you're going to have the opportunity to manage the invitation. If you don't have FamGuru already, once clicking Manage Invitation, it will take you to a screen to download FamGuru. Alternatively, if you do have FamGuru, you'll go right into the app and you'll see a little yellow sign in the corner saying awaiting confirmation. And then you'll be clicking on the trip and being able to accept or reject that invitation. So let's see what happens here. I'll mention I'm already on this trip. I actually already accepted it, but let's see what happens. Oh, it opens my app. Fantastic. And you see there is the trip that I've been invited on. Oops, let me go back. There is the trip that I've been invited on. I've already accepted this trip, but in the upper right corner, you'd see a yellow box that says awaiting confirmation. You click on the trip, you'd get a screen that says accept or reject, you accept, and then you get to this screen, the home screen of the trip, and you can start exploring what your host has invited you to. So very, very simple to accept a trip. I'm going to start this conversation actually now that we are in a trip. I'm going to actually look at our accounts. I want to talk a little bit about your profile, first of all, and why it's important to fill out your profile. So let's go over to personal profile, and it has 3 sections. The general about me information, and yes, I was really born in 2022, my details and my Instagram and emergency contact and what have you. This information, when you accept a trip from your host, is transmitted to your host. They need this information, how to be in touch with you, who to call if there's an issue, and they want to be able to follow you. So all of this information goes to your host during the trip, before and during the trip. You also are sharing your dietary requirements. So in FamGuru, when you have your profile, you want to be able to edit those, or you want to put those into your profile. Everybody on your trip is going to need to know your dietary requirements, your beverage preferences, and have an opportunity here to share all of that so they know how to cater to you when you're on site or if you have any special needs. As well, we have an information section, a little bit about you. So if you're adding this, we want to know about the host wants to know about you. What are your awards and recognitions? And as an advisor, when did you start selling travel? Destinations you sell most often, and I have Bahamas in here for an example, just an example, and destinations you want to know better. Why is that in here? Because in the future, the host will have an opportunity to search the FamGuru database for advisors that might be a great fit for their trip. So you want to make this as complete as possible. What are you really selling right now? What do you want to know better? This will help them find you. Likewise, your specialization. I have safari, hotels, beach and sun. All of that will help the host find you in the future. So fill out your profile now, and hopefully the fam trips will start rolling in for you later. So let's also just talk about this section. I'm going to talk about in the account settings, in addition to profile, support. So as you're using FamGuru, you have the opportunity to see video content for how to do things on different screens. Here in the account settings, we have all of our support videos. We did an update yesterday and somehow we lost the second one there. However, what you have here is if you want to see how to do a certain thing, here's video content for how to do that. Alternatively, if you didn't, you have an opportunity to send feedback to us. If you have a question that's not been resolved, you open that up, report our feedback, send it. It comes to my inbox and other people's as well, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right, that's just a little bit about support and about the account settings screen and our profile. I'm going to go back to our trips, our home screen here in FamGuru. So we'll click on trips in the lower left, and we'll go back to our home screen. What you have here is all of your active FAM trips that are coming up, anything that's happening right now or anything you have in the future. And these are all of your past trips. You may have traveled on several. These could be hosted or your own self-directed trips. And to illustrate a bit more about how this works, I'm going to go down to a past trip and share with you this particular experience because it's relatively well built out. We're now on the trips home screen for my weekend in Bermuda, and you'll see a couple different things. The dates, you'll see a section that's called required documents. Required documents are items that your host needs you to complete or provide to them, a passport copy, a waiver form, what have you. We also see notifications about the trip. We also have up here the little orange question mark. If on any given screen, if you see that, you get video tutorials for that particular screen, or again, you can contact us through the feedback. We'll also talk about this button to the right, which is how you generate a report. We'll talk about that later. Just giving you a little look around how we navigate in FamGuru. The key thing up here is the left-hand navigation menu, the three little lines in the upper left. We have our trip home screen, we have our itinerary, and we're going to start by looking at the itinerary. How does this work? So your host has put together this entire itinerary structure for you. Once they invite you into the trip, the structure is pushed over to your phone or to the website if you want to log in on the website, and you have the ability to see what's happening day by day. And so what I want to show you when we click into a certain part, your host has set up an area for you to take general notes on the destination. Pretty simple for them to set up, not much detail here. However, what's important is when you're traveling, you have the ability now to go in and add your insights for that particular aspect of the trip. So I'll click on that. And I'm going to go into the edit function here. So you can see we have a public section. This is an area where you'll rate the trip and you'll provide any general photos and comments. Your host and colleagues on the trip could see this information. So it's a good place for a general overview, constructive feedback or criticism, and all of your photos, or some general photos about the location or about this particular element of your trip. What I'll show you here is that you can add a photo at any time. And how you would do that is you click the plus key. And what we do is we browse. If I wanted to add more photo, browse or add your images here. And you can do that either from your gallery or from your camera. And so we'll do that for or you can take a picture right there. And we'll just add another photo of Bermuda right here so you can see it. And add, I hope. And there we go. In theory, I think it's added to the end here. Yep. I hope. Where is it? I have a lot of photos in there, don't I? There it is. And so I'm going to save that. And that saves in that section of the public notes. I'll also mention, if we go down here, we have a private notes section. Advisors have been saying, what if I don't like the property? What if I don't want to share all of this with my host? What if it's just not appropriate for my clients? Great. Add that here. Or this island might not be appropriate for your clients. Add that here. And you also have a section to say good for which clients. Family, multi-generational, whatever it is, you can multi-select here. So you remember this experience was good for a family. Likewise, we have the section down here, specific clients you think would like Bermuda. Mr. Smith, the Jones family, super important for us to be thinking about who we're going to sell this to. That's why we're here, right? And our host wants us to sell too. So take those notes and remind yourself that these are the people you need to speak to about Bermuda. Okay, we're going to discard these changes for now, just so you can see how the notes work. I'll also take a look at a hotel because that's a little deeper. How does that work? So our hotel stay in the Bermuda resort, and our host has preloaded all of this information. It comes from Google, and the address, the postal code, they can preload more photos. They might preload contacts. In this case, we just have one resort map. And then let's take a look at how we do our insights for a hotel. It's a little different. Okay, notes is going to look almost the same. And this is about the hotel, public notes for the hotel, private notes for the hotel. If you meet any other contacts that the host may not have given you, you just add it here and save it. Very easy. This could be the concierge. It could be the director of sales and marketing, the general manager, if not already added to your trip by your host. Now, one of my favorites is the rooms, because I'm guilty of taking 400 or 500 photos on a site inspection or on a trip, and 6 months later not knowing what hotel it was. This is a place where you can add your room type, and you can add the specific photos and your actual thoughts about that room as you're going along, so you can always remember what it is. So I've added these rooms. This is the Ocean View 2 Queens, and my comments about it and the number and what was the view, does it have connecting or not? And these are the actual photos from that particular room on that particular trip. And again, I wouldn't have no way of remembering this 6 months from now when I'm scrolling through my camera roll. Any photo that you have on FamGuru, you can actually also send out to social media. So click on the box in the upward right. It opens up your phone's capability to share. I can send that in a text. I can email it. I can Instagram it. I can put it on WhatsApp. Whatever it is that however you would like to share with a client or with a colleague or your social network, fantastic. Do it here. Every photo can be shared that way. Great. So that's just a little more about the rooms. The other section that I really appreciate, this is the food and beverage. And for any hotel food and beverage outlet, you can add photos and your impressions. Very simple. The same for the wellness, the spa, the gym, the tennis courts, your photos, your impressions. And then my other favorite part of this are the common areas, because I would always forget to go look at the common areas. And so let's say I want to add a new common area in my notes, this jogs my memory. What could I go look at? I haven't been to the beach. Right, I really need to take a picture of that beautiful pink beach. Or what did I think of the kids club? If I'm a family specialist, I have to talk to my host and figure out, can I see the kids club? What is the kids program like? So this really jogs our memory, helps us as advisors engage with the property and on a deeper level, so that we don't forget and we take these notes. We have those photos to refer back to. Essentially what we're doing here is we're building an archive of our entire travel experience, our entire fam trip. Our hosts are putting together the professional portion of that archive. They're giving us photos up front. They're giving us the structure of the trip. They're adding files and contacts. And then as we travel, we're adding in our impressions, our photos, our notes. And then we have this beautiful archive of everything that we did, saw, thought, and learned. And so that's what I always wanted when I was doing a site inspection. Fam trips are busy. It takes, we see so many hotels and we eat at different restaurants and we do activities. How do we keep it all straight? We're creating an archive so we can always refer back to it and keep it all straight. Okay, so that's just a little bit about the itinerary right now. We'll talk more about how you create your own self-directed itinerary in part 3. Okay, now going back to the navigation menu on the left-hand side. You want to see the participants on your trip? There they are. If you want to see the shared photo gallery, I'm on a mission to replace the WhatsApp group. We don't want to use 2 different platforms. So FamGuru is meant to function like the WhatsApp group. And the great thing here is it's going to remain forever, just like your notes and your photos. And so these are things that your host could preload. So for example, there's me, there's my photo credit. It does have the ability to do a description as well. And as you're going along, you can add your selfies, you can add your best room photos, you can add the sunset photos with your new fam colleagues. This can all be added in here. You can put in notes that everybody knows what it was and who took the photo. And any one of these, again, can be added to social media via our export function here, a little different than how it works elsewhere. However, it brings up the same functions that we saw before. Now, going back here to the navigation menu, files. Oh, look, our host has added some files, some information about Bermuda. Cool. Bermuda by season. What do I need to know about this? This is something I can refer back to. This is something I can share with my clients, right? I can take this, download it, and it's going to pull that right up. And look at there. Oh, there's the temperatures by month. That's helpful as I'm talking to a client, right? And other things that they might want us to know. That could be a packing list. It could be visa requirements, whatever it is, they can preload it for us. We'll have it there as part of our archive. we talked a little bit about required documents. So in this case, our host has requested a copy of our passports. How does that work? Let's click on that, and let's see, passport copy for Carrie. And all I have to do is click add info. I can upload the file. I can send a note to my host here. My host will receive a message in their app or their FamGuru saying Carrie has submitted her passport, please approve it. They'll look, make sure I didn't upload a photo of my dog, and provide an approval if all is good to go. If it's not good to go, they'll reject my submission and I'll have to try again. So also I can delete my documents after the trip. They don't need to have my passport photos once this trip, my passport page once this is done, right? So let's go back and we'll discard that entry, but you get the idea of what the requirements are all about. So this allows us to manage all of these requirements within FamGuru and keep it all in one place without having to email it. Now, let's say I'm remiss in doing this. I will get pinged by FamGuru in my email and as a notification on my app as the deadline approaches. Hey, don't forget to submit your passport copy. We advisors are the worst. We are great at planning things for our clients, not so good at planning things for ourselves. I'll skip duplicate trip. That really is only if you're doing your own trip or a supplier. I also want to talk about the chat. This is a new feature that we developed. It's also part of replacing WhatsApp. And so for anyone on the trip, you can go into this trip. Down here, you can do a message to the whole group. Or if you want to see a specific person on the group and I want to text Lee or I want to message Lee, I can do that here. Again, all of these messages will always reside in your FamGuru now and forever. Okay, going back to the trip, we have some navigation issues we still have to work out with the chat. Please tell me, it's really new, so please tell me what you think about it and how we can improve it. Okay, so we have all of this great information. Oh, I'm going to show you one other thing about taking notes within the app. So let's go to my hotel stay. If you don't want to type all of your notes here, you can also use dictation. So if you anywhere you put your cursor in a text box, you'll see, it's a little hard to see on my screen, but in the lower right-hand side of the screen, there's a microphone. If you click on that, you'll be able to talk into your phone, and instead of typing on the small keyboard, you'll be able to dictate and then go back and edit later. Or you can just log in on the website and use your regular computer to add your notes. Just wanted to share that. But now that we have all these notes, what do we do with it? Well, it's important that we're able to share with our colleagues at our agencies, with our clients. And so how do we do that? If I go back to the home screen, we talked a little bit about the what is that? Ooh, generate a trip of all my notes. Yes, please. So let me type yes. That will take just a moment to generate a PDF. And what we have is something that's compiling all of our notes and all of our photos into one good looking place that you don't have to, so you don't have to spend 6 to 10 hours compiling everything that you learned. We have our itinerary at a glance here. You'll see that. And if I zoom in a little, this is my itinerary for Bermuda. And then down here, we'll be able to see all the different elements of the trip and everything that I saw and thought in my photos. I will say that we're making this more flexible, easier to use. You'll notice we have to suppress some blank fields so it doesn't take up space. However, let me just scroll past some of the blanks and go down to Bermuda General Notes. Wow, those are my photos of the different things that I saw for people to read along with, and those are my public notes. I had some private notes. No private notes in this case, but I did say it was good for family. And then let's go down a little further to the actual hotel stay so you can see that. The first part is what my host loaded, or as the case may be, maybe didn't load a complete view. We just have one photo here and a little bit of information. However, these are my notes, my public notes. These are my photos, for example. These are my impressions, what I put in there. These are my private notes, additional photos. And then let's scroll down. There's more information, just general impressions about the rooms and so forth. And there's the ocean view to Queens that we talked about before, and my actual photos of that particular room type, along with my thoughts and impressions that I want to be able to share. So we'll make this more flexible so that if you only just want to share a certain hotel with a client, great. Or if you want to share the whole report, fantastic. We are also putting this in editable formats. You can download those photos, put them on your MailChimp, and use them for marketing purposes. Or even if you just have 10 clients that you know would love this, take this report, put it on email. You can send it to yourself through this little icon in the bottom. It's an upward arrow. Again, it's the ability to export and share, send it to yourself on email, and you have a nice report. Sure, rather than typing it in your Slack or Facebook group several times. Okay, so essentially that concludes the part of the presentation that looks at the app. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to move over to FamGuru on the web. So let me get out of this, stop the share. All right, and then I'm going to pop over to this over here. I'm going to share my actual computer screen. Give one moment while I do that, and then pop over to the web. And so what we're doing here, hopefully everyone can see that, we're going to the website. You would log in here by going to web.famguru.app. You're going to use your same email address and your same password to log in here. And look, it looks really similar. And so here are my active trips, here are my past trips. And I'd like to take this opportunity to speak about doing reviews and required documents, because those are things that are sometimes easier to do on a computer rather than on your phone. I'm going to go to our Bermuda trip down here on past trips. And here we are. Let me log in. It's going to look familiar. It's the same image. If you want to, and it's the same structure, you'll have a sense of that from the app. I also want to point out here in the 3 little dots, if I want to export that trip report, just like we did on the app, you can do it here. If you want to see your participants, great. Let's go to itinerary, because I want to show you where to do your reviews if you don't want to type on your phone. So we'll go to our Bermuda resort, and up at the top, view your insights. I already have some there, so I want, there we are. There are public notes and our private notes. And if I want to do some editing, if I have some photos on my computer, if I want to change a few things around here, you'll be able to do that here. And you'll see the same structure, contacts, everything else that you have. Very simple, completely seamless between the two. So if you want to add your photos from your phone because they're saved on your phone, or if you want to just do your notes on the computer, totally fine. They sync rather quickly with one another. I will mention it's important that you be on Wi-Fi. It is possible to do, it's technically possible for us to do offline, FamGuru offline. However, it is a little tricky. And so that's something we'll be working on in the future. But for right now, like most apps and most websites, best to do it online. Okay, so far so good there. And let's also talk just a bit about the requirements. Sometimes you don't have a copy of your passport on your phone, or sometimes you need to upload a file. You would do that here. And it's the same process. You'd open that up. If you want to go to me and add my info here, and let's browse or drop my file. So it just goes to my computer's exploring my directory structure to be able to pull that up if I want to. Click out of that. So the other thing that I'm going to mention briefly is that I realized that one of the things that we're working on starting in September of 24 and hopefully finishing in the 4th quarter is video. We have the ability to do photos. However, video is a slightly different animal, and we are working on adding that because we know how important that is for advisors. We oftentimes walk around on our site taking a video and providing audio over that video. We know that's super important. So watch this space. We do intend to do that. We'll be there shortly. This concludes part 2 of training. So for those of you who are good, you're on a hosted FAM and you're ready to go, you're welcome to drop off. Part 3 actually is about, okay, what if I'm doing my own self-directed trip and someone did not create this structure for me up front? Or you're on a hosted trip, but maybe you're doing something pre, or maybe you're doing something post. Let's talk about how to create your own self-directed trip in FamGuru. So we're going to go back to our homepage. It's easier, you can do this in the app. I find it easier to do in the website, so we'll talk about it from the website, but the same function exists in the app if you need mobility. Create a new trip, super easy. Down here, you're welcome to upload an image that represents this trip for you, or you can use one of our stock images. I'm actually going to use a stock image, so let me go across here, over here. I'm going to choose a city image because I'm going to set up a quick fam trip here on the fly, and it's going to be trip to Chicago, November 24. I'm going to select my organization. We're going to just say I'm with FamGuru. You might have multiple organizations. I won't get into organizations right here, but it could also be your particular brand if you're an independent contractor or your agency's organization. The trip start date and end date. So let's open that up. And it's going to be November. And we're going to just do the 14th to the 17th. Trip invitation text, that's more for if you're a host or inviting advisors into your trip. So we'll skip that for the time being. Trip description, just a few words so that you remember this. Brief visit to Chicago to get to know the city for the first time. I actually live here, so it's not my first time, but now I will create that. Very simple. Terrific. Here we go. And so now it's taking us into the overall trip. Now we're not going to be inviting anybody else in. It's just us. And what we need to do is put our itinerary together, right? So I'm going to show you a couple different things of how to do that. Well, when we do the itinerary, we have the ability to add a hotel stay, a hotel site inspection, or a restaurant. Chicago has some great dining, or anything else. This could be a tour, this could be a transfer, this could be just general destination information. I'm going to start with a hotel stay. And the Conrad Chicago. And let's see, this is powered by Google Maps. So here we are, Conrad Chicago, East Erie Street. What we're doing right now is very much like what your host does to set up a trip for you, although you're select that, hopefully. There we go. It pulls in the map, the address, and we're going to do our check-in and check-out. We're staying the whole time, so we're checking out on the 17th. We'll just say we're checking in at 11 and checking out at 10. And if I have any contacts at the hotel, you can add those here up front. And if the host is adding this, they'd add this here for you. And description of the hotel, let's say it's great location near to Michigan Avenue, or whatever I want to write about it, or maybe I want to pull this off of their website or something like that. So I remember Avenue. All right. The website is already up here. It should be there. It didn't pull in a website, so we could go and get the website for this hotel. It did not pull in a phone number. Actually, Google does not usually have the phone numbers in this map function, so we can always add that ourselves. We go to next. Let's see. Do I have any photos? Do I have any professional photos that the hotel gave me when I made my reservation with them or asked them for our fam stay? And so you could put this here. These are nice things to put on your social media before you go out, and so you can warm up your social audience. You can do that if you have a host as well, and if they put any photos in there, they will be able to you'll be able to use that to warm up your audience as well. And any files, maybe they've sent you a spa menu, maybe a restaurant menu, maybe an activity list. You can save those here. These are things you can always go back to later in your archive and share with your clients. The difference here is that you're forming the professional part of the archive. So you're setting up the structure. You have the ability to put in these photos and files. You may not bother doing that because you want to set this up quickly, but this is how you would handle it. So let's go to next, and we'll say yes. And that's going to add it to our itinerary. So what we have here is a hotel stay in Conrad, Chicago. It's there for us to click into and work on our reviews any day while we're traveling. And then we have the same capabilities to go in and add our insights. This will automatically also translate over to your app, so you can do this on a mobile basis as well. Going back to the itinerary, I'm also going to add an other booking, just general Chicago notes. You can't really search for general Chicago notes in Google, right? So what I'm going to do is go down here. Gosh, it's a long list. I'm going to do this again. I'm just going to say general Chicago notes. So if you do try to search for it, look, there's nothing that comes up in Google. Surprise. What we want to do is we want to add the general notes. So we're just going to create that. There's no address, there's no phone, there's no website. So we're just going to save. And what it's going to do, I'm just going to put it on day one at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it comes first in itinerary. There's no end hour to it. There's no contact, no description, at least up front. And I'll just say place to add add my notes on the city, right? And so we're setting up the structure for ourselves when we're here. And I don't have any photos or files. I just want a placeholder so that I can take my notes. Next, and confirm. So now it's part of my itinerary. Great. And so let's take a look. What does it look like? There's the basics. And now I can start adding my insights about the destination. Ooh, what did I think of the weather? November might not be so nice. What did I think of the city overall? What are my comments that I might share with people? You're not really having to worry about public and private in this case because it's just your trip. There's no host that, so you can put that wherever you want. However, that's one way you can do things. And the same goes for whatever else you have. You can put in another element, a restaurant. If you're doing a site inspection on, let's say, the 15th, we're going to go see the, we're going to go see Four Seasons, Chicago. And you're going to be able to add that again. And now we're going to say that we're doing that site inspection on the 15th at 1 p.m. And I probably have a contact. I might have a description. And you'll add that, and you'll see where that falls in the itinerary as well. So now on the 15th, we have a site inspection at Four Seasons Hotel Chicago. So you get the idea of how it is you would set up your own self-directed fam trip. Hopefully, this is a good way to start to organize our photos because we have a lot to take notes on. There's a lot when we go on a trip, and it comes quickly. So as you're going on a fam, it's really good to try to stay up with the notes and the photos, but you can always go back later. You can always go back and add the photos that you've taken and add your insights if things are moving along too fast. All right, so you understand the skeleton, and I just want to reiterate how to get help. Anywhere you see that question mark in the app or anywhere you see the question mark over here on the website, click on that. And let's see, we have our video tutorials that you can play, or again, you can send feedback to us if you don't have your information, if you don't have what you need here. Likewise, account up here, about me, my preference, my professional information, my dietary restrictions. I can edit and share and update all of that on this particular screen too. Okay, so that's FamGuru in a nutshell. I hope that's helpful as you get started, A, using it on a particular fam, or B, setting up your own self-directed trip so that you can then use it on a particular fam. And I hope that you are able to record many wonderful insights and photos. Remember too that those reports that you generate, if you don't put a lot of information in, if you don't upload your photos, you won't have a good report. So it's good incentive to make sure that you're putting that information in and then coming back, sharing it with your agency, sharing it with your colleagues, sharing it with your clients. And then you always have this here. FamGuru is free for advisors. It's now and in the future. So today, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, you'll always be able to come back to your past trips, refer to your archive, pull out information, remember, use that information with your clients, demonstrate your expertise, and sell more travel, which is what we all want because this is a great industry and we love this lifestyle. So that's it for me for today, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions. You're also welcome to email us at info@famguru.app. Thanks very much.